Tonight's edition of the Overtime. NPA Baseball is off to an amazing start. We give you an update on that. Flag and Coco Baseball and Softball started their rivalry up this week as well. And sadly, the season has come to an end for the Flagstaff Avalanche. We look at their year in review, and the Jacks will be rocking the Sky Dome tonight, and we give you the inside scoop on their CIT game. All that and more on the Overtime tonight. Thank you for joining us and welcome to this edition of the Overtime, Northern Arizona's only sports show. It is I, the handsome man, David Omata, bringing you all the hot in sports action here in Flagstaff. With me tonight is my good buddy there, Jason Freeman. Good to see you there, my friend.
Thanks, David. It's great to be here. I think we're all feeling fresh and ready to go after spring break, so let's get right into it.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Well, our first topic tonight, Jason, is the fact that the Spartans out at NPA are currently off to their best start in their baseball program's history. What has led to the sudden surge in the team, and can they keep it up as the season progresses?
Well, like you said, David, that 5-0 start is the best that the school has ever seen in their history. But, you know, that all came to an end Tuesday when the team dropped their first game of the year to Scottsdale Prep. But unlike some other sports, one loss typically won't derail a baseball season. So I expect this team to continue to ride consistent pitching and a steady offense all season long. I would love to see this team face off against Flag or Coco to see if they can continue their success against some of the bigger schools.
One thing that I thought was an important development for the team was that during their game against Sedona Red Rock Scorpions, not only did their position players do well on the plate, but their pitching can also contribute to the run game as well. Starter Jake McDaniels drove in 2 runs during his 4 innings of work with a bat in his hand, and Andrew Peters came in for the final 2 innings on the mound and got a hit on each of his 4 plate appearances while bringing in 4 RBIs at the same time. These young guns at NPA are pulling out their best rink and keel imitations, and I love it. Both Coconino and Flagstaff finally here, Jason, got back into the swing of things with the home rivalry this last Tuesday. But so far, the season has been very different for both squads compared to last year. What would you say was the biggest difference for the Eagles compared to their playoff season they had last year in baseball?
Well, the first meeting highlighted the different levels that these teams are playing at right now. The Coco baseball team looks to be in midseason form with a 7-5 record, and they look better every time they step on the field with some impressive wins, including a 15-0 win against Sholo and a close 5-4 win over Arcadia. The Flag team, on the other hand, still looks like they're trying to find their identity as a team. When they lose, it has been bad, and this year they're off to a measly 4-11 start. And they've lost their last 5, but there's still some potential with this team, as they've had some pretty impressive wins, even though they were against some of the lesser teams in the state.
Well, Jason, while the baseball team has been succeeding at Coconino, the softball team has also had their moments of impressive play to talk about so far this year. In their matchup against Flagstaff, the Panthers pitched an impressive no-hitter with the arm of Rachel Tossi, throwing lasers from the mound. They were able to chip away at the Eagles pitching staff and gathered 10 runs to help Tosi in her appearance, ending the game in the 5th by a mercy rule. That being said, it remains to be seen if Tosi can maintain this kind of play in her first year as a full-time starter, as she seemed to struggle during her earlier appearances this season with her previous game against Casa Grande on the road, ended that one 13-3 in a loss. Either way, it is great to see all the teams kicking up dirt on the base paths again. It was a successful season also, by the way, for the Flagstaff Avalanche as they made it to the state championship. The team showed such an impressive style of play for a collection of high school students, but sadly, though, their journey has come to an end recently. What should this group take out of their journey this year there, Jason?
Well, making it to nationals is huge for this team. The hockey talent pool in Arizona is not as impressive as it is in other parts of the country, but this team still made it to the national tournament. Even though they didn't do very well, they've created a winning culture that they can continue to build on. The fact that this team almost outscored opponents 2-1 during the regular season shows how well balanced and coached this team is. Head coach Denny Lartson is building something special here in Flagstaff.
Needless to say, this team should be proud that they got as far as they did, and their domination in the regular season should be a building block for them going into next year. And we've sat down with Denny Lartson before, and he certainly seems to be taking this team to a whole nother level with their play in recent years. For the Avalanche and the players there, it is more about how high can their ceiling be raised. I think these kids have a chance to do something really special next year, and we'll be sure to keep tabs on them once their season begins next year. And Jason, our final topic of the night revolves around the game, I should say, that's going on later tonight at the Walk-Up Sky Dome, as the Jacks will be hosting the next round of the CIT at 7. Jason, this team has done so much in starting the Big Sky tournament, and they are the last Big Sky team playing in any tournament this March. What will help the Jacks keep that fact true for the next round?
Well, this team lost a heartbreaker to Montana in the Big Sky tournament that I thought they had a good shot at winning if they'd been able to advance, but they have not let that slow them down at all. They beat GCU and Sac State in the CIT tournament so far, and that win against GCU is big against another in-state school that is also on the rise. Winning that game should help them as far as in-state recruiting is concerned, but the biggest factor for this next game is that it's going to be played right here in Flagstaff. Not all these teams who come up here are prepared for the 7,000 feet of altitude, and it gives NAU one of the most unique home court advantages in the country.
Well, hopefully students and alumni can make it out to that game tonight and provide a little extra noise to disrupt the opponent. The pep band can't do it on their own after all. But the Kent State Golden Flashes are a tough squad, and Jimmy Hall will more than likely be their catalyst, as he sealed the deal practically against Texas A&M Corpus Christi with 17 points and 9 rebounds. Look to the forwards of NAU to try and stifle Hall if the game gets close tonight. Anyway, Jason, it was good talking with you, and we'll see you later on in the show. Coming up after the break, we went down to the Flag Coco game this last Tuesday, and Coach Vandervalk of Coconino gave us a little bit of time to speak with him. For that, make sure to stay with us right here on The Overtime, folks. And welcome back, folks. The rivalry between Flag High and Coconino is always a big thing here in the city of Flagstaff, and the venue has changed now to the baseball diamond, and already Coconino has gotten the upper hand in that matchup. Coach Daniel Vandervalk gave us his insight to the game itself and how the season is shaping up so far this year for his Panthers.
With the coming of spring, the crosstown rivalry between Flagstaff and Coconino was moved from the hardwood to the baseball diamond. After being dominated in basketball this year, Coco was able to get some revenge with a 13-1 win over the Eagles. We caught up with Coconino coach Daniel Vandervalk after the game.
We really tried to downplay it a little bit, honestly. We really tried to keep them from getting nervous, thinking about rivalry, and just told them it's another game that counts towards our playoff run. Of course. You know, our end goal is to get in the playoffs, fight for a state championship, and, you know, we just talked to the kids about, you know, let's go out and treat this game like it's any other game. It's just another stepping stone to get into the state playoffs. So it was kind of a downplay kind of thing for us. Avery Williams up on the mound. He did a great job pitching. He executed his pitches today. Threw a ton of strikes. I think he had 12 or 13 strikeouts. Was really doing a great job executing, keeping hitters off balance. So number one, that was the biggest thing. But number two, our offense came up and put the runs up for him. Well, you know, number one is we do a lot of off-season stuff. We work out. We work out in the fall. We do the weightlifting in the winter. And our motto all winter long is, you know, we're lifting and we're working hard for the state championship. So, you know, that's our goal every single season. Right now we're on a great uphill climb. You know, we were 1-4 to start with, and we've climbed up to 7-6 right now. But we're 4-1 in games that count towards playoffs. So definitely heading in the right direction. Guys are starting to be a little more mentally focused on. We're not just going to go out there and win games. We have to go out there and execute our plays. So.
Thanks to Coach Vandervalk for that sit down after his game. And Jason, they really took it to Flagstaff in that last game. I mean, you got to be impressed with the hitting and the pitching for the most part.
And whenever you're playing a rival, you get really pumped up. But then when you go out and beat them like that, 13-1, it really just sets a whole nother tone for the rest of the season.
And when your pitcher is giving 12 strikeouts in a single game, I mean, that's also very, very big. I mean, you can't get that much out of a high school starting pitcher these days. But when you can get a complete game, 12 strikeout game like Wells gave them this last Tuesday, I mean, it shows that maybe this guy's more so the real deal than we thought.
Yeah, you know, a performance like that really, in a big game like this, a performance like that can just carry throughout the rest of the season and just give the whole team a little boost and a little extra momentum.
And certainly they'll need that boost as they go on for the rest of their season so far. Well, anyway, Alexander Moore, I hear that you've got our previews coming up for this weekend. What's the situation looking like here in Flagstaff?
Oh, David, this weekend looks packed full, and I'll tell you more after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the OT. My name is Alexander Moore, and we have some exhilarating matchups this weekend. To start things off, Northland Prep Baseball, coming off their best start in school history, will be at the Chandler Prep Tournament all weekend to show the southern teams of Arizona how the Spartans play. Northland Prep Softball team will also be in action with a doubleheader matchup against Sedona here in Flagstaff on Saturday. First game starts at 2. Coconino High Baseball had a game earlier this afternoon and will also play Saturday. The Panthers will play Cardinal Newman in Santa Rosa, California, and that game starts at 12:30. Now moving on to the oh-so-invigorating collegiate level, the NAU Track and Field will be in Austin, Texas this weekend at the Texas Relays. On Saturday, NAU men's tennis team will be out for some Grizzly blood as they take on Montana, and the match starts at 10 a.m. And this Sunday, both of NAU tennis teams will be playing. Men start at 10 a.m. against Montana State, and the women will also start at 10 a.m. as they look to derail Idaho. And finally, we have the NAU men's basketball team hosting Kent State tonight in the third round of the collegeinsiders.com tournament. Well, that's all for the sports matchups this weekend. And to all the teams representing Flagstaff, good luck and bring home those W's.
Thank you very much there, Alex. And for everyone here at the Overtime, we wish you all a great weekend, and we hope to see you at all the games this weekend. See you next week.